Jamie Shaw wrote up a bunch of updates on many of the best outstanding 2026 recruits in college basketball yesterday. Good pulse check with a lot of the players that could potentially have the hottest recruitments, the most hotly contested recruitments as players start to make decisions on where they're going to play college basketball next year. Anthony Thompson is one of the highest rated players that has a decision to make here. Rivals' fifth best player in the class of 2026 is on schedule to take six official visits. He's already gone to Michigan, Ohio State, and North Carolina. He's got Indiana, Texas, and Kentucky still to come. His Indiana visit begins this weekend. That's next up on the list. And according to Jamie Shaw and what he's hearing from his sources in the recruitment, Indiana is the team to watch here. At least one source tells Jamie Shaw to keep an eye on how this visit goes this weekend to Indiana. Now, I will say, in all of Jamie's write-ups or many of Jamie's write-ups, sometimes you can read how clear the vision is for maybe who leads in a recruitment. Sometimes it's like this team is out in front. And then sometimes there's a little more murky, like Indiana's a team to watch. Michigan went well. Ohio State has momentum. Things are fluid. So I will say that the Anthony Thompson write-up in general makes it sound like a lot of teams in this recruitment still feel they have a chance. But at minimum, Indiana emerging as the presumed leader if you are taking Jamie Shaw's write-up the same way I'm taking Jamie Shaw's write-up. Do you buy this? Do you think there's any substance to my theory that Indiana may be out in front in this recruitment?
Yeah, I do. And also, it's a big moment for me with the Hoosiers, Greg. Obviously, we have had quite the dance these past couple seasons between them and Woodson and I. And I want to very much know, and I know that I'm behind the sticks on this one. Fall started on first down. Woodson came into my crib on Tom Izzo night and beat me. Okay, I understand that it's first and 20, and I'm
Tom
sitting
Izzo's record night will always be remembered as Mike Woodson night in my
right.
heart, where you and I sat in an Ann Arbor bar 5 minutes from the Chrysler Center after Michigan got a statement win over the Purdue Boilermakers, and we watched Mike Woodson have his dance with you,
With Ulamog.
with you specifically. He was dancing with you for
and,
2 hours.
and he threw a zone at my team, and that really just killed everything. But with that said, I have been saying for a long time now on a lot of these Indiana videos that or with recruits involved with Indiana that I do think they are going to get one of these big guys. And Anthony Thompson, I think just kind of reading between the lines of some of these words, I do think that this is a prospect and a player that is very gettable for Indiana. I think that he is a kid that, just seems like he's going to end up being a Big Ten player. Like even looking at his list, he's from Ohio. I know he had the Kentucky offer. I'm not going to count Kentucky out or anything like that, but there was Ohio State momentum. There was Michigan momentum, I believe, as well. There was a time and a place where Michigan State was in on him, but we got cut a long time ago. But I do think that DeVries is going to get one of these guys. And now, if he makes me look dumb and he doesn't get one of these guys, dance round two, me versus DeVries. I don't want to do that, but he set the tone. He said, meet me in the middle of the dance floor. And I'm like, all right, I'll do this. But I do have faith that they are going to somehow land one of these big guys, whether it be, I think they're in on guys like Arfon John.
They're not getting Arfon John.
They're not going to get him, but I'm saying that, or an Ethan Taylor, they're also in for
Could
as
get Ethan
well.
Taylor. Could get Ethan
Um,
Taylor.
but so I think they are going to get themselves a big old fish. It's just a matter of when and who.
Yeah, okay. I buy that.
And it's a matter of if that fish is for you. Now I know this. Your father's allergic to fish, so you don't do fish. But I'm gonna try to give you a little fish metaphor here.
You're giving me a fish metaphor.
I'll
I'm
give you
getting
a fish
fishy.
metaphor.
Okay,
Yeah, a little bit fishy here.
sure.
You can catch a fish, and I could eat it, but you know what I'm saying? I'm a salmon guy. I'm a little bougie. You know what I'm saying? Clock it. I don't want to eat no halibut, but halibuts are big fish. So
Sure.
you can get a big fish. Now the big fish might not be good, but you can get a big old fish.
Sure. Yeah, I get that. I guess I don't know. Here would be my metaphor that has nothing to do with fish. I gotta be honest.
Is Anthony Thompson a swordfish?
I tuned out the entire fish metaphor. I'd go with a different metaphor for Indiana's recruiting approach right now and maybe what their eventual success will be. You keep saying they'll get a big one. They'll get a big one, a fish. This reminds me of when I, for Christmas, like maybe 5 years ago, told my, at the time, 5-year-old nephew, hey, I'm going to take you to the toy store and you get to pick out whatever toy you want. You get one toy for Christmas, whatever you want. That's great. Take him to the toy store, except instead of the toy store, I took him to a department store. I took him to Meijer. That's where I took him. Why did I do that? I don't know. I was an uncle at the time, not a dad. Lesson learned. Go to Toys R Us if you're trying to pick out toys. Maybe even Five Below would be a great option. Instead, I went to Meijer. This little kid, God bless my nephew, 5 years old, went straight to the electronics section and asked if we could get a TV. And I said, no. How about we go somewhere else? And then he went straight to the Xbox and said, how about an Xbox? And I said, no. How about we go somewhere else? And then finally, at the end of like 20 minutes of him asking if we could buy things that no 5-year-old boy needs that were way too expensive and out of my budget, we ended up picking out a soccer ball. And he went home happy with his soccer ball. And now he's a great soccer player on a bright future. I'd like to take credit for that. But the point is this: Indiana can get on the list, the final five, for as many 5 stars as they want. All they need to do is get one of them. And there are quite a few here that I think are a lot more likely than others. I would put Anthony Thompson as the number one player that merges caliber with likelihood of getting him for Indiana. I think it tracks for me that Jamie Shaw believes Indiana could be the school to watch here. Now, Arfan John, don't think they're getting him. I don't even remember who some of the other Indiana targets are, but if they're after top 15 players in the country that are going to Kentucky, Kansas, Duke, there's quite a few that I would think they don't have a great shot with. I know they were after Tay Kinney for a while. It doesn't seem like that's all that likely. So for me, Thompson is the biggest fish they could get if we're trying to go back to your fish metaphor. Thompson would be like if my nephew at the toy store had somehow convinced me rather than getting a soccer ball to like, I don't know, get some like $300 toy that I did go home with, like, oh, he's gonna love this one day, instead of shooting for the stars for the $5,000 television, something like that. We'll see. Now, I also read this update from Jamie though to mean that a bunch of teams feel good. This doesn't feel as if it's like Indiana is imminent. It feels like watch the visit. Indiana's been good on visits. Michigan feels great about their chances with Anthony Thompson. I know that from a variety of sources. Ohio State feels great about their chances with Anthony Thompson. So you look at the rest of this list. Kentucky's supposed to get the final visit. That would scare me if I'm any of the Big Ten schools. He's already gone to UNC. It doesn't feel like there's a bunch of smoke with the Tar Heels. Texas is going to get a visit. You never know what happens there. To me, this is a Big Ten battle, though. I think this is Ohio State versus Michigan versus Indiana. And if I had to put my chips on one, I would bet on the Hoosiers. Partially also because you and I did college hoops to go. And we went to Ohio State and Michigan and Indiana in succession. Anthony Thompson in the last 3 weeks has gone in order from Ohio State to Michigan to Indiana. Bloomington's going to feel extra special coming off trips to Columbus and Ann Arbor. Just a little different experience.
Yeah, Bloomington goes up. Shout out to I miss Bloomington, by the way.
But Bloomington after like a trip to Lexington would be different than Bloomington after Ann Arbor, respectfully.
Facts. Yeah, facts. And Columbus.
In Columbus. So
Yeah.
I think, yeah, watch the visit. I'm with that, Jamie Shaw. Do you agree? Is Indiana, like, would you bet on them? Is that your prediction right now?
There's like a little Diebler on my shoulder just nagging me.
I had always felt like Ohio State was the team to beat before this update, but
I still think I'm gonna stay with Ohio State. I
okay.
think. This is just a little Diebler just nagging me.
I wouldn't know what to do if Diebler got a top 5 player in the country.
Yeah, that'd be kind of tough to. Would you consider that losing a recruit to Diebler?
Yeah. Yeah, this is a dusty priority right now.
Can I give you a little heed you a little word of advice here?
Sure.
It fucking hurts.
Who did they beat you for?
Devin Royal,
Oh, yeah.
and it hurt, man. It
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. I feel you. Well,
But we got Colin Carr because of that.
I'm gonna say you got the best dunker lottery pick in the country.